real estate is a conservative business, and there are many startups that are trying to break into this rigid structure. However, many fail to do so because they fail to make scale. Today, Guido and I have found 6 companies that have left the startup stage and are potential new unicorns.
Yeah, today we're talking within 2 episodes with these 6 companies. In the first place, we're gonna see how these startups are servicing mostly the tenants, the end users. Those are opener, channels, and B-Grid. In the second part, we're gonna look at data used to increase efficiency in a building. Those companies are Smartvatten, ecoBuilding, and PulseCore.
Yeah, and we'll be looking at the barriers that they have had to break through in the past, but also their future growth strategies. And yeah, we believe that now is the timing. We were always told never waste a good crisis. Well, I think we can all agree that we're in a crisis right now, so we need salvation. And these 6 companies will explain it to us in the coming 2 times 30 minutes. So hang with us.
Stay with us. Let's go. Welcome guys, Frank from ecoBuilding, Michael from PulseCore, and Tim Smartvatten.
Thank you.
Tim, to start off with you, can you tell us something about Smartvatten?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for the invite. Smartvatten is focused on water efficiency. We're doing that via digitalization of existing water meters. And that helps our clients save water and reduce property damage.
Yeah, and how is that using out? So digitization of water meters. Could you explain a bit more?
Yeah, so water meters typically are still old, analog water meters. Sometimes they're digital, but if that's the case, then the building owners often don't even get the data out of those water meters. So we have a scalable way of digitalizing that.
So how the water is used?
Yeah, exactly. So we have a real-time consumption, which we bring inside via different algorithms. So we see in the data patterns if there is a leak in the building, for instance. And that helps property management, but also tenants to see if they can reduce their total water consumption and fix leaks if they occur right away.
And if is this an actual leak? Is there water leaking out of a pipe, or is it these customers they're using too much water? They keep on flushing. Toilets keep on flushing.
So good question. So we have an algorithm that detects larger deviations. So for instance, if a pipe breaks down, then we see that within a couple of minutes that the consumption goes up significantly. However, if there's a base flow during the night, so 6 hours, 7 hours long of continuous water flow, then we know that there's a potential smaller leak occurring. So it can also be indeed that there's maybe a flushing system of a toilet that is broken down, or maybe a tenant has forgot to put down the water tap.
Or if you have Guido as a tenant and he's taking too many baths over his heavy weekends, we can detect you from now on.
Yeah, but in general, we see if there's a break in that pattern. So if you take a bath for a couple of hours, that's all fine, as long as it's not 12 hours long water consumption.
Hot water boiling almost. Okay, Frank, your company ecoBuilding is also on the saving side, but it's much more on the energy savings, I guess.
Yes, exactly. It's about energy saving. It's actually a Priva product. Priva is, so we are more like a corporate startup, as we called it before, where ecoBuilding is about the energy transition and about energy efficiency. What we do, we make buildings more energy efficient using artificial intelligence and smart technology. We can explain that later more on. So we help buildings save 20-30% of energy. And we have a solution for the energy grid, where there's a large problem with energy balancing. When the wind will start blowing, there's a lot of electricity, but that's not necessarily the moment that people or companies use the electricity. So there's a challenge with balancing the grid. Well, and buildings can provide the solutions there.
So is the building really working as a battery at that moment?
That's a nice one, yeah. You could see a building as a thermal battery. The nice thing about thermal energy, about heat, is that it's a slow process. That means that when you will heat up a building with a heat pump and you make it warm, you can easily switch it off for half an hour later when there's less energy available in the grid. So a building can be part of the solution of the energy grid. It can function as a buffer in the energy grid, and that's very interesting. But that's one of the two, and the other one is that we make them efficient. So we can just save energy for our customers, which are tenants or building owners.
And do you guys also take care of the data collection, or is it mainly making it efficient by using data that is gathered by other?
Well, how it actually works, we make what we call in a nice word a digital twin, or a virtual copy of a building, which is actually a copy of the complete installation in the building. So let's say like a heat pump, like a manifold, like a release system, like a radiator group or floor heating. You have you make a copy of this building. We make this copy, we call it a digital twin. We fill this copy with data, and based on this data, based on these properties, for example, how large is the radiator group, how well is the building isolated, how much energy do I need to heat up this building, we can very accurately predict how much energy is needed to heat it up, and based on these predictions, we steer the installation.
Yeah, with how many people are going to come in,
Exactly.
what the
We look at
temperature
the
will be.
future. So
Yeah.
we don't look at the current temperature or the current outside temperature. No, we look at the future outside temperature. We look at the future sun radiation. We look at the future building occupancy. And based on that, we come to the most optimal way to steer the climate installation.
All right,
Okay.
Frank. Yeah, we'll be talking about the future more on later. Michael,
Yeah.
Pulse Core.
Pulse Core.
What are we talking about? Pulse Core.
Pulse Core is a building operation solution. Pulse Core is a label of SPIE. SPIE is a European multi-technical service company.
Yeah. You see those vans driving around the city everywhere.
Yeah.
Once you've seen the name SPIE, you can't unsee it.
So just like ecoBuilding, we're a corporate startup. So separate label, separate team, separate product that we call Pulse Core. And what we did is collecting all that knowledge, all that expertise of our service engineers, translated into a platform to really help customers operate their buildings and manage their buildings. So actually what we do is a sort of continuous commissioning of the building and keeping the performance of the assets in the building at a level that our customers want, or even increase that level.
And to make it a bit more specific, so you're increasing the building and make sure that you continuously improve it. But
Yes.
what are you actually focusing on? What are the features that you are improving?
We're improving the lifespan of an air handling unit or a heater. So the assets in a building.
So heater, for instance, how does that work? We have a heater. We're trying to expand its lifespan.
We collect all the data from an asset management perspective, asset management data, sensor data, bringing that data together. We have our own developed algorithms and use a sort of predictive maintenance technique to predict the outcome of that asset and turn that into information and inform our customers or inform the service companies when they have to do their maintenance and what task they have to do.
Yeah, so is it mainly focusing on making the operational costs less by predicting what's going to happen in the future?
Lowering operational costs is one thing, expanding the lifespan of an installation, looking at multi-year planning for maintenance or replacement of installations, is looking from a circular perspective. So that are all added values, and also, of course, the whole energy transition and energy management that we do with the platform.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. Well, so Guido, we've got smart ideas at the table again.
I guess so. Yeah.
Tim. Water. Yeah. So water is abundant in the Netherlands. I don't think it's abundant everywhere. Yeah, we think so. Yeah. So. Water, when I look at my energy bill, I don't want to look at the gas bill anymore. Electricity makes me mad as well. And then I look at water and then I feel a bit calm.
Yeah.
Where's the problem?
Well, I think we had a lot of problems last couple of months in the Netherlands and in Germany with water scarcity. But aside from that, we have a big problem with water in buildings because water is the most problematic factor when it comes to building damages. A lot of building damages is caused by water. And our clients, landlords, property managers, they don't really have a way of tracking their water consumption, let alone knowing if they have a leak in their building. Yeah. So aside from maybe the ethical question that we maybe have a sort of an ethical responsibility to save it, because we think it's a limited resource that we have in the world, it actually makes sense on a building-to-building level to track and measure your water consumption.
Yeah, so there is a problem, but do you encounter more people like me that don't see the problem?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So especially the first couple of years, months when we first entered into the Netherlands, we heard that a lot from clients saying like, the water bill is so cheap. Really, why do I need to save this? Okay, well, luckily we're now in a situation that more and more landlords are seeing the value of sustainability. but also the value of predictive maintenance and helping our property management know if they have a situation on their hand when it comes to water consumption.
And when did you see this change?
Well, it took a while for us to let them know and to really explain them, like, hey, listen, guys, we have a way of helping you even more with your efficiency of your making sure that your property isn't damaged because of water leaks. But we see that now the momentum is growing for sure, and we are growing like crazy.
And the sustainability topic, what you just mentioned, is also quite interesting because we saw the same situation with energy. Where, let's say 15 years ago, energy saving was just about money saving. Every customer would just see how much money will I save. And now you see that other values got more important, like sustainability.
Yeah.
People, different stakeholders. We see a younger generation of managers who see the nature and the environment as more important, but also you see the legislation.
Absolutely, and there's also a lot of more operational cost involved in that, because a lot of our clients, they want to do something with sustainability, but that means that they need to report on data, for instance. Well, how you get data out of your properties is something we can help them with. Like, aside from calling up tenants and asking them to give down their meter readings of their water meter.
And how big of a role does water usage play in things like climate change or sustainability?
Well, for instance, GRESB or BREEAM reporting, a lot more attention is now going towards water efficiency. So yeah, we think that the momentum is shifting, as well as sort of the general perception about water scarcity. And again, we have saw that, I think, last couple of months throughout Europe.
Yeah. And are you also like, so you're focusing on the usage side to decrease that part. Are you also looking at the supply side? So are you collecting the rainwater to flush the toilets, for instance, stuff like that?
Yeah, great question. So we started out by saving water on a building level. So that was sort of the original starting point of our company. And then we noticed that there was a blind spot with our clients, because it was very hard for us to help them save water because they didn't know what their consumption even was. Yeah. So we think scalability is everything. So we want to take one step back and help them get data, because then we can actually save water on plus 10,000 buildings, what we're now doing.
Yeah, and I also think that this, since 12 months actually, that ESG has become a vital factor in investment decisions. So for instance, at my job as an investor, since 1 year, we have pension funds from all over Europe that are focusing on SFDR Article 9 funds. And that brings much more money to the table. So for instance, new projects, we're also looking at new innovations to increase the ESG score or GRASP score or whatever of a property, is not only because we want to, or because I'm a young manager wanting to create a sustainable building, it's also because I can pay you more. Yeah. Is that something you encounter as well?
Yeah, of course. The focus on sustainability and that kind of goals is, from an asset management perspective, is really increasing, and it's not only the operational costs anymore. It's also a social discussion. It's regulations, of course, and so we encounter that much more in what we're doing with PulseCore.
Yeah. So your company originated from a huge company actually. Yeah. So they also saw the added value in your solution. Exactly. Have you found problems bringing that solutions to other customers as well?
No. I think
it's an easy way.
Well, no, easy way. I think we have a network within SPIE to attract those customers and talk to those customers. So that's a huge benefit, of course. But again, the interest in not only sustainability, what we saw in the last 2 years is a healthy, comfortable climate due to COVID. Much more interest from AR professionals or facility management to talk about that kind of problems and issues and challenges that we have. So we saw that we could grow and scale besides SPIE and talk to customers really from a PulseCore perspective.
Yeah, Michael, how's this for you? Because energy usage and the relation to climate change is much longer already an issue. So it's still growing in attention.
The attention for climate change, you mean?
Yeah, or also the connection with your company. Like, are you helping
it's like
with a part of the solution?
Yeah, we definitely help with part of the solution. That's actually a very good question. I was just thinking about it. Imagine when you can save in an average 25% of energy in buildings in just the Netherlands. That's about 30 petajoule. And 30 petajoule is the same amount of energy that all the gas boiler, how do you say, the gascentrales, the gas installations in the Netherlands are using.
Yeah.
All the gas-based electricity production in the Netherlands together is about 30 petajoule. So imagine just making buildings safe, 25% more energy efficient. It's just saving that.
I get the solution, and you've got a great point. But then still, why hasn't it happened yet? What are the biggest barriers that you encountered over the last 10 years?
Yeah, that's a good question. This is also a question about how we are scaling up. What you see now, the last 40 years, climate installations in buildings are just steered by an outside temperature, just by an if-then-else statement. If outside is 10 degrees Celsius, then I put the boiler so hot. That's how all the buildings are still working, and that's still the conventional way about how we program these climate installations. Now you see startups coming up with new technologies, and well, we are already a few years on the way, and now we are coming to the question how we're going to scale this up, and what are the challenges? The challenges are basically that many building installations, all building installations are quite different. There's a lot of problems in building installations, in the climate installations. There's a lot of issues in these climate installations, which we have to overcome. Very simple, I can tell you. When I will predict 40 kilowatts for a gas boiler that should warm up a building 2 degrees Celsius in 1 hour time. Yeah, so 40 kilowatts gas boiler, the end of the building are some rooms, they have relay systems, between that is a whole network of installations and air handling units, etc. Very often this 40 kilowatt will not reach this zone because there's a problem with the valve, there's a problem with the water balance, there's a problem with the air, whatever. So this you need to focus on to fix this. We are developing technologies to do this automatically. We have anomaly detection and all sort of things to automate this process, but that's something you have to go through. When you will implement smart technology in a building, you have to have a building with an installation that works well. That's actually a blocking point all over Europe for these technologies.
What do you think about that, Tim? Do you have an opinion about the way startups or scale-ups encounter larger corporations with their solutions? Is there room for improvement?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think scalability, as mentioned, I think is very important. So therefore, we reach out to the biggest real estate companies in order to get that skill. But yeah, like there are more stakeholders, of course. I think it was mentioned in the previous conversation as well. Like you need to align as well with tenants or with building managers or whatever. So yeah, there's work to be done, and I think maybe the reason why it's so important to have these kind of conversations is to make sure that we can work together actually.
Yeah, and how's that working out, guys? Because when I heard the stories, you kind of complementary services. You are in energy savings, you're in water savings, and you make sure that the thing he's wanting to fix or letting know that it has to be fixed doesn't have to be fixed in the first place. So how is the...
We have a very practical example actually here on the table.
Okay.
We sold our technology to a large schooling organization in the Netherlands, Avans, in Breda. We are implementing our technology in a building in Breda. It's about a 30,000, 25,000 square meter building, so it's a large school. SPIE has the maintenance contract there, and SPIE is also managing the building automation. So we make the digital twin, and we ask SPIE to implement this in the building, and we make a great project together. When we encounter problems in this climate installation, we would go to SPIE. We didn't find major problems there, so that's good for them. But so we are working together in this, and very well.
Yeah, and the only way to solve those challenges of the energy transition or health or safety is creating this ecosystem, and we've learned that from the traditional asset management, managing assets from large customers. You don't do that by your own. You have your partners who have their expertise in safety and security, or have their expertise in the elevator business. So it's all about creating that ecosystem and working together. And I think from an asset management perspective, two major challenges are fragmentation, so data silos, customers who have great new solutions, PropTech solutions and legacy systems, and it's not working together, they're not collaborating. So integrated management of your building is impossible. And the other problem that I see, and that's more related to what Frank was saying, is a semantic data model. So speaking the same language, how do we call sensor A? How do we call sensor B? And it's completely different. So one language that we speak with each other to share that data and create that semantic data model, in which you can analyze the data very quickly and use your algorithms. That's really the biggest challenge. And the only way to face it is to work together and help each other and share knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah. So when he mentioned the word segmentation, you were nodding like, yeah, I do feel that's true.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, so the collaboration I think is key. For us, our clients don't want to have another portal for yet another problem that they have, right? So we enable our data to be shared via an API to, I think we're now 65 different partnerships in that way. So we are quite active in that because we recognize the need for one solution.
Yeah, I think that's also a new thing to those younger companies that bring innovation to the sector, because sharing your data is not done for the old conservative investors, because sharing the data is also sharing your knowledge, and then you're just basically afraid that your competitor will use it for their own benefits.
Well, to add to that, to be fair, like we have an own portal which still has a lot of added value with benchmarking, with reports, with our algorithms. So we still have our own portal just in the background always for that kind of work. But then
you have to be, because you have to be visible, right? You have
exactly.
to,
and we still want to add value, and not all our partners can add the same value that we can, and that's of course fine. But we do want to be integrated with them, so our clients know what their consumption is.
And do you see the real estate owner forcing you to share that data? Because what we see is really the real estate owner has more focus on the data and the data ownership, and forcing companies to work together to create that one data model. And they want that ownership. If I would have said no to clients if they ask if we can share data, if they say no, we cannot do it, then that's a lot of problems for us. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well, that's a new view on things. I want to start talking about growth strategies, really. And the first topic I want to touch is about going international or focusing on your national market at first. Guido and I had a conversation with Ferdinand Grapperhaus from Visi, another startup that, they do another thing. And he told us that the first few months or years even, they were after world domination. And then after 2 or 3 years, they learned, all right, no, we have to focus on the Netherlands first, then expand to Germany. And via that new strategy, they actually found, well, this is working. We're growing right now. So, Frank, for instance, how does that work for your company?
Yeah, well, as I said, ecoBuilding is a Priva technology, and it's a really new, innovative technology. What we did about 1.5 years ago, I actually founded, let's say, a new partner for ecoBuilding. We call it VB Optimum. That's a company focusing on the Netherlands, just selling, implementing and servicing these systems in the Netherlands together with partners like SPI. Now the next step is also to do this abroad. So actually it would be very nice if you would find a suitable partner in, for example, Germany, who would do the same as how we did it in the Netherlands. That would be a technical partner who knows this technology, who knows how to implement it, who knows to cope with the customers, etc., and who could do the same in for example, Germany.
And how are you planning to find this partner?
Well, from the traditional business, so to say, from Priva, we already have a branch office in Germany, so we have a network there. And basically what you see happening now, we now already have a request from Germany, we already do a project also in Germany, and what you see with these projects, you also encounter the technical companies who are supplying this customer. So mostly what you see happening, we find an end customer. We found an enthusiastic customer who likes our product, who wants to do business with us, and then we see who is your technical supplier, which companies are involved, and then we see, are they suitable to be a partner? Can they work together with us? And this is how you find your network in these countries.
Yeah, Michael, how do you do this in cooperation with SPI, your founding company?
The vision of FIC is very recognizable. Dream big and conquer the world. So And when you're back on with both feet on the ground, then first the Netherlands. So that's also how we started. But of course, the ambition is to grow in the Netherlands. At this point, we have 5 million square meters in management through Pulse Core. We want to double that in the next 2 years. But of course, use the SPI network that we have to go into Europe. We're active in 38 countries, so that's a nice network.
Yeah.
But the other way that we are using, we have a lot of international companies supported by Pulse Core, and they are asking us if we can also manage their buildings with Pulse Core in other countries. That's also a nice way to step up the game.
Okay, Tim, the guys in front of you have two giants behind them, backing them.
Yeah.
How are you coping with this?
Well, we are actually dreaming bigger. We started out wanting to be the water champion of the Nordics. Then it became Northern Europe, and now it's Europe in general. So yeah, internationalization is very important for us. A lot of our clients have properties throughout Europe, and they want to have their data collected in the same way. So we can help them with that. But yeah, we have a good opportunity there. I think our clients, we recently measured that our key clients just are working with us on just 5% of their buildings. So there's a lot of potential still in the clients that we already have.
Hey, and Tim, in the more southern parts of Europe, there are huge droughts, and water is an actual problem there, a huge problem. So that leads me to two thoughts, actually. The one is, well, it's already a big problem, so they probably have solutions for it. The other one is, they've got a huge problem, they need your solution.
Yeah, it's mostly the second part. Yeah. And again, scalability. So still, if a client of ours is working in Germany, in the Netherlands, and in Spain, the solution that they have to bring data is often still very fragmented, but we can actually work with the same kind of solution on every property they have. But yeah, Germany is a very important market, for instance, which you wouldn't think. More maybe, in the short term, it's maybe more Germany than Spain or Italy, funnily enough. But yeah, that's going to be the focus point in the next couple of years.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you very much. Keep up the good work, I would say, and good luck at the Expo Royale in Germany.
Thank you.